No, with that, how happy were you for your first match on tour after you chilled up in time?
Yeah, it's good to be back on tour. 5 weeks with no official match. I knew that the first match in such a long time will be a little bit tricky, challenging, obviously, with conditions that are quite challenging as well. But I managed to reset after I lost that first set right away in the second and really never looked back. I felt like, I had to find my A game when it was most needed, particularly at the beginning of the third, which was the case. So I'm glad to be able to close it out the way I did. Of course, you can always, look at things in a positive or negative way. There are things to work on, but I just like the way I fought and hung in there. So, looking forward to the next one.
Novak, how high on your list of priorities is the LA Olympics and defending your title from Paris?
Yeah, that would be nice. I mean, that's one of the long-term goals. Let's call it that way. To reach the Olympics, that would be nice. I mentioned that a couple of times in the last year or so, and it's still a long way. I think at my age and my stage of my career, it's every year seems like longer period than for anyone else who is younger. But I'll try to make it. Definitely one of the motivations. So try to be there.
Novak, well done. Remember a couple of years ago you were talking post-war and about considering maybe not having a coach. I just wondered if that's something you would ever do, and also what does a 24-time Grand Slam champion look for in a coach?
Well, Boris, who is with me, he's been an assistant coach and an analyst, so he's obviously filling in the role of the tennis coach, and but I don't have anyone who I can call my primary tennis coach at the moment. So, and I'm okay with that. I feel I have what I need. I don't think that. Right now, I'm ready to, again, at this stage of my career, to bring somebody completely new and go through the same process of getting to know each other. And I do, which doesn't mean that I'm not trying to, how can I say, improve my game or innovate and look for the ways to get better on and off the court. I'm doing that. In the off season, I, brought different people in and spent some weeks of analyzing and kind of deconstructing, reconstructing my game in a sense, as much as time I had available in my hand, and I think it paid off. I mean, I had a great tournament in Australia, beating Sinner in a late night 5-setter, and then taking Carlos to a tight 4-set. So I mean, it took me a couple of years to win against either of those guys. I mean, years. I beat Carlos in 2025 Australian Open, but I haven't had many victories against them in Grand Slams the last couple of years. So yeah, it was a great way to kind of see that I can still beat them and I can still do this, at the highest level. So that was great.
Russ.
Novak, I asked Carlos the other day how aware he was of the 41 matches in a row you won at the start of the 2011 season. And the
that was your question. I saw his answer.
So you saw his answer.
Okay.
There you go. So I don't need to repeat what he said.
Right.
For the benefit of everybody else, he said having won 12 or now 13 in a row, which he thinks is pretty special, he's realised how far away 41 is. I just wonder if you could remember what it felt like to be on a run like that.
He can do it. I mean, he has everything that you need to have in terms of the game, in terms of the adaptability to different surfaces and level of fitness and recovery that he has shown and matured over the years with. He needs to keep his body healthy. If he keeps his body healthy, I mean, he's so good that he can win any tournament he plays on. So you never know. I mean, he's been doing some historic things in our sport for such a young age. But yeah, I mean, winning 40 plus matches, and I've had a couple other runs as well at the beginning of different seasons where I had 25 plus, I think, twice. It's demanding, but at the same time it feels, when you are winning so much and you're riding that wave, that you don't want to let go of that wave. You want to surf on that wave as long as you can, because the level of confidence is really high, and obviously when you lose first time, that is a bit shaken up, but as long as you're winning, you feel like each match you feel stronger, in a sense. I mean, if I can reflect or recall on my feelings that I had during that time. So yeah, I wish him many more victories. I think he's great for our sport, and what he's been doing is remarkable.
Two more in English, but Crown.
Novak? Gaël Monfils is quitting the tour at the end of the year. You are quite the same generation, same age. You do both your career at the same time. What will you remember from him, and what about your terrific record against him?
One of the rare guys that is older than me on the tour, with Wawrinka and Gaël. These guys, we're talking about Gaël now, he deserves every applause and every credit out there for not just what he has done on the tennis court, but and with his athleticism that was off the charts. I mean, one of the most athletic tennis players ever to hold a racket, in my opinion, and one of the most exciting players to watch. I always love. I mean, I think there's no one that doesn't like watching Gaël play tennis, because you never know what to expect, and I think that's what brought a lot of interest and also a lot of smiles to people when they watch him play. But also his character features and values, and he's such a nice guy, and is like literally no one that I know in the last 20 years that has gotten into something negative or in some kind of conflict with him. And that speaks volumes, about him, who he is as a person, and always had tremendous respect by all of the fellow tennis players, and everyone loves him, and so he deserves to play this year the way he wants to play, and to go out from tennis and say goodbye in a way that he feels that it's fit. And I hope that the crowd will give him in every tournament a proper support that he deserves.
Novak, in January, Craig Tiley suggested that maybe women should play best of 5-set tennis matches. I was just wondering, for somebody who has played so many 5-setters...
I don't recommend.
Could you explain the challenges, both not only physically, but the mental challenge of taking on
Yeah.
a set, and how long it took you to feel confident, comfortable in that?
It feels like when you're preparing for a Grand Slam where you play best of 5 for us, it feels like you're preparing for something completely different, like a completely different tour, different kind of physical preparation and mental preparation. Because some matches can go 3, 4, 5, 6 hours, and I've played the longest Grand Slam final in the history. I was part of that with Nadal in 2012. It went almost 6 hours in Australia. So just grueling. I mean, incredibly grueling and demanding. And I played recently with Yannick. I don't know what it was, almost whatever it was, 4.5, 5, almost 5 hours in Australia. So I mean, back in 2012, my body has recovered much faster than what is the case today after such a marathon-long matches. Yes, you do have a day between matches in Grand Slams, but when you have a match like that, that is 4 or 5 plus hours, it's just taking a big toll on your physical condition and very hard to recover and be able to, I guess, be ready for the next challenge. And you might, play well the next match, but then the longer you progress in the tournament, the physically more exhausted you are, and that's the big one. Obviously mentally as well, of course, but physically, just it's a whole different animal, so to say, that you're facing Grand Slams, comparing to anything else that we have on the tour.